Hey everybody, we are here with Kruesi Originals. This is Harley Davidson's Build Off YouTube edition. It's us versus Blockhead Moto. If you're not following Blockhead Moto, go follow them right now so you can see what they're building, so you can see the competition. And you know, maybe we get a little banter going back and forth, and keep it positive, don't be an asshole. But other than that, this is your Build Off. We are in the shop. If you've already watched, we've got about 2 episodes out already. This is probably around episode 3 by this time. The first ones were kind of introductory, and then we went to Trask Performance, and Trask dyno tuned a bone stock bike. Actually didn't tune it, they just spun it on the dyno to see what this thing would make numbers wise. And then we put the first 2024 Thunder Max in this, which we're doing R&D with Trask to help out Thunder Max and get this thing dialed in. And they tuned it, and this thing made some really, really good numbers. If you haven't watched that video, go back, watch that video. It's very impressive, the numbers that a stock Harley Davidson puts down now compared to 5 years ago, how much money it would have taken to make that kind of power with a tune, stock exhaust, catalytic converter, stock intake, stock everything, just a Thunder Max with a light tune on it. This made 122 foot-pounds. That's insane. It does rollers really, really nice. It also does wheelies. But today is the first day that I'm going to put my hands on it. The first day that I'm going to tear into this thing. We're going to start the first project. It's going to be a real basic project. We're starting out with what I think you should start out on every single motorcycle. Everything you should do in any build whatsoever should always start with suspension. It's the most important thing. If you're building a performance motorcycle, which I hate calling it that, but if you're building that kind of style and you want to really shred, suspension is it. That being said, the suspension on this bike stock is phenomenal. So I'm honestly curious to see what the difference between what we're going to put on and what the stock stuff feels like, because the stock stuff so far I'm thoroughly impressed. I've jumped this bike, I've wheelied this bike, stuff that you can't do with any other stock setup, period. There's not another stock bagger before this that would clutch a wheelie up like this does. This thing just comes right up. It is pretty wild. So over here, this is what we're doing today. Actually, this is going to be some days worth of stuff. This is Legend suspension. We've got the 14-inch arcs in the rear. These are, I'm pretty sure we're not running heavy duties. We are. These are the 130 spring. These are 14s. We're going to raise the back 1 inch. This bike comes stock with 13s, I believe. We will measure that before we start, but I like to go up a little bit in the rear and keep the front stock, because when you get like this, you get like this. When you get like this, you get solid. You want to have a little rake and trail. This model 2024, they have different trees. This bike has different geometry. The rake and trail is different. I don't have exact specs on that. I haven't got my hands on that yet. It's supposed to be coming. The bike is considerably lighter. It's shorter. It's much more nimble. It handles, it's like riding a early model Dyna to me. This feels like a Dyna. The Street Glide, I highly prefer riding the Street Glide over the Road Glide. I know you guys like the Road Glide and it's popular, but this to me feels much more like a Dyna. It feels like what I like to ride and where I come from. I like small early model Dynas are my favorite bikes. Road Glide just feels very big to me. I feel not as confident riding with that big fairing in front of me. This, being it to the handlebars, which at like 95 miles an hour, it does get a little buffery. When I do the front end, I'll probably set the neck bearings a little bit tighter. But we're doing cartridges in the front with 21-inch wheel limiter. Yes, I'm doing a 21-inch wheel. This is the first time I put a 21. First time I put anything bigger than a 19 since the Stunt Tail. That old Road King I built a long time ago, that 100th anniversary Road King, we did a 21. But I normally run 19s because when you put a 21 on a bagger, the rake and trail is not very good traditionally. So when you do a 21, it really messes the trail up in them and they get real wobbly a lot. The bigger the wheel you go on the front, usually the wobblier they get, if that's a word. But this guy, the trail is supposed to be decreased and it's a little different, and I think a 21 will look better with this front fairing. It will make this front fairing look just a little smaller, more compact. And we're cutting something special. Cutting a set of our wheels, of course. They'll be Kruesi Originals wheels, but the color combination is going to be sick. Got some real big hopes and dreams for this bike here. We're going to go real big. But today, we're going to start doing suspension. And we're going to take our time, and the suspension setup is going to be one way. Then it's going to be different because we are going to change it once we get everything figured out. So I'm not going to put the stickers on these because we're going to be running different mounts. We're going to be running a different fender. We're going to be running different saddlebags, different whole back subframe. We're going to be building the whole back half of this bike out. But today, we're just going to mount it up stock. We're going to get all this stuff in here, and then I want to test ride it, and I kind of want to see the difference. Legends is amazing. I run it on everything. I think that the arcs are some of the best thing out there for rear suspension. I don't know how much better it can be than the stock rear shocks. No jive here. The suspension on this bike feels amazing, and I have never said that about a Harley Davidson ever. Harley Davidson has never made a bike with good suspension. The DX, I take that back. The T-Sport and the DX, that had good suspension. But as far as baggers go, it's always been mushy. It's always been created for Dr. Bob and Dolores to have a really squishy, slow ride up to your local biker bar. And this shit feels real deal. It feels like it has valving in it. It feels like it has suspension. But I'm gonna start with tearing off the bags. I'm gonna tear everything down. June's got work to do, and we'll get back to you when I'm ready to assemble. Like, subscribe, ring that bell, tell a friend, and for every $5 you spend on KruesiOriginals.com enters you in a chance to win a custom Harley Davidson built by us. Thank you. I want to give you guys just a quick look at the shocks before I pull them off so you can kind of see what the new stock stuff looks like. Come on over here, June. This one has, like, I don't know a lot about it, but I'm going to say this is probably compression adjustment in it, so you can stiffen it up or soften it up. I had it on the softest setting apparently. This is kind of how they've been since 21-ish, I think they came with this style. This one's just a little beefier, a little more upgraded version. And then you come over to this side, and it has all of the preload adjustments, so you can set all of the spring rate on this side, which is kind of weird doing it different side to side, but a lot of bikes do that nowadays. But this is definitely a much nicer looking, much beefier, higher quality looking shock. They just look a lot higher quality than they did before, and they feel amazing. So whatever they did inside, they did it right. So now I'm gonna take them off and throw them in the trash, but other than that, they are really, really nice. Really, really nice. So if you want to just buy a Harley and rip it now, you can actually just buy one with good suspension already, which kind of screws all of us, really. All right, I'm tearing her apart. So the stock ones are 13 inches, just like what I thought, kind of like the old FLHX. But if you got a Dyna out there and you're broke and you got a homie taking the shocks off of his bagger, you could probably run these on the back of a Dyna and feel pretty good. The spring rate traditionally is softer on a bagger than it is a Dyna. This suspension feels good. 13 inches is a little short for me. I prefer them a little longer. But other than that, she's pretty nice. That's what she said.
I prefer them a little longer myself.
Yeah. Okay, so I ran into a little bit of a dilemma, which I already knew this, but I also haven't put suspension on a bike with stock exhaust in God knows how long. We normally just tear them all the way down and start from scratch, but 14's too tall for stock exhaust because the stock exhaust sits about right here. I mean, it literally goes straight in the muffler. So, thankfully, we are Kruesi Originals and we do carry a lot of stuff. I have a stealth exhaust sitting on the shelf ready to go. Did you see this new muffler?
Oh yeah, he asked if we wanted the mid-length or the shorty. I said, go with the mid-length. They offer mid-length, short, and long, so I figured
and long. This will probably make more. This will probably make more power, I would imagine. Longer the pipe, bigger the stroke. You know what I mean? This is new. This is a mid-length pipe, which the more volume you have, the more chamber volume you have, the better it's going to perform, better it's going to run. It also is stepped to a very massive head pipe. Massive. Look at this thing. Look at the beautiful craftsmanship. Stainless steel piece of jewelry. It comes with the end pieces built in, which no other exhaust company does this. This is really nice. Don't have to I haven't used a clip or anything on an exhaust in so long. I gotta cap the O2s for right now. We do have a Thundermax in it, but we shut the O2s off. She's just running off the tune that was put in it, so there's no learning or any of that going on, which it doesn't really need to because she was spun up on the dyno and tuned really nice by Trask Performance. So I'm gonna put the exhaust on now, so we're kind of flip-flopping and him-hopping. But I got these guys bolted up. I still gotta mount the reservoirs. We're gonna temporarily mount the reservoirs down here in the Factory Legends location. I do have some fancy stuff coming to mount up here, but none of that's gonna happen until I completely carve the back half of this apart, which, man, I could do that pretty soon. I think I have everything that I need to make that happen. I don't. We are waiting on the material for our bag rails for the Kruesi Originals dime bags. We ordered it about 2 months ago, and it is not supposed to be here for about another week almost. So that's the one thing that I'm waiting for the back half of this, but I could start building the fender and figuring all that stuff out. Anyways, we're gonna temp mount these dudes, and I'm gonna figure out a mount up here because I want to keep a sissy bar. I want to be able to run a sissy bar back here to put a luggage bag. Like I have this Built Well luggage bag that sits up like a backrest because I want to do some like road trips on this thing. I'm gonna put some miles down this bad boy this year. I wanna be comfortable, maximum comfortable. So we'll do a little exhaust install. I'm gonna put some gaskets in there. I'll be back. I'm going to, man, you can look at these. Those look perfect and they look brand new. And they're probably perfectly good enough to reuse, but I just don't. I would never reuse a gasket really in any situation, because why not spend the extra 12 bucks on a new set of gaskets instead of having to spend the time and doing your exhaust over again? Because once you get it on, you go through all that work and then you got an exhaust leak, it's not even worth it. Also, put a little anti-seize on the threads of the studs up here, because these get piping hot and you really don't want them to weld themselves together. This will keep the nut from welding itself to the exhaust stud for later on serviceability, because these things are probably hitting 2,000 degrees and they get rusty because they're just metal, and then they really weld themselves together nicely. God, I can't get to that son of a bitch at all. It is really hard to get to this front head on this motorcycle now, I will say that. I did get a lot of anti-seize up in there. None of it was on the stud, but there's plenty on the rest of the motor now that it should hopefully get there eventually. Gotta cap these dudes off for now. I do have plugs and fittings readily available. I'm gonna anti-seize these dudes too, so I can get them out later and they don't weld themselves together with heat and corrosion. Man, I forgot to show you guys the best part about buying Stealth exhaust. Look at this, you get all these trinkets, like this handy card that goes in your wallet, a knife blade on one of these ends, and a bottle opener, and it says stuff on it. And you get this. This is the first time I've gotten one of these. Trent got one last time. Oh, June did, that's right, and Trent swooped it. Trent's getting his made into a necklace right now and getting put on a chain. But look at this, little cleaver. I mean, it's worth buying the pipe just to get that, dude. Just have this dude hanging off, which I would sand the end of it not sharp because it's sharper than shit right now, but gangster ass little necklace. That would be cool. And cups. I'm really thankful for these because I have lots of Stealth cups. I use these for coffee cups and I lose them all the time. So I just constantly, I never even wash them. I just wait till a new pipe comes in for a new build and I get a new cup. Run her dirty. Oh, I'm keeping your cup. If you order it online at KruesiOriginals.com, you're getting a cup probably, or whatever else, whatever. It depends on what Steve's throwing in at trinkets at that time. He changes that up quite often. They don't have that middle mount anymore. Just thank God I told them to get rid of that a long time ago. They did finally. This middle bracket is now obsolete, which I'm thankful for that because I hated that shit. These front studs are very, very challenging to get to. This is a 1/4" drive, probably 9-inch, 10-inch extension with a snap-on 1/4" drive, 1/2" swivel. This is the only tool really to do exhaust, especially in the M8s. This is a necessity. Especially when like you're running into O2 sensor placement and other weird shit that gets in the way. This dude will pretty much get in behind and around anything that you need it to. And these are all just finger tight. You never just go blasting something on. If you build a dam in the river, the rest of the river ain't gonna have no goddamn water in it. So you don't wanna jam her up here and expect any of this to line up or any of this to line up. This all goes on loosely and then we do a nice alignment. I also like to put a little anti-seize in the inside of the old shaft there, so when we slide her on, she slides on nice and smoothly. I need one more thing though. This guy's gonna be real fun to get on the old head pipe. There's that. Just leave that dude nice and loose for now. I got my anti-seize handprints all over the place. Here she is. I'm going to put the bracket on. It is a good looking pipe. I kind of like the longer one. It does look pretty good.
I think it looks better on baggers.
Yeah. The normal ones we normally run stop about right here, which I like those a lot. This is going to make more power though. More muffler is more power. Give you a lot more bottom end, give you more reversion. The old sonic wave, suck them unburnt fuels out and unburnt gases and make this thing flow a lot better with the big stepped head pipes like that and that big chamber volume. This thing's gonna sound pretty good. I'm anxious to hear this 117 with a pipe on it, and when we're done with this little project, which was just suspension and is now exhaust and suspension, we'll fire this bad boy up. I'll probably take her out for a rip, eh? How do I get that guy off there? Oh, cock tease. Man, the exhaust bracket, the swing arm hits real close to the exhaust bracket now. That's kind of shitty. I am Removing the stock bracket off the back of the oil bag right here. With these tall shocks, this thing is extremely close. Oh, come on now. Don't be stuck, please. Oh, you dirty bitch. I might have just forked myself. She's extremely close to the swing arm. Makes her a little challenging to get out, so a nice snap-on, flat, low-profile ratchet with a stubby Allen is great to get it loose enough to get with the fingers. Finger blasted out of there. And we'll go back to a little red Loctite on these bad boys because you don't want to lose them. And they're small, and they're putting a big old vibraty thing on them. This is the bracket. We're gonna just screw this dude right back up in the factory points. This guy, I'm gonna like snug up, but leave loose enough that I still have to see this play. I still want all that play so I can line everything up nice and dialed when I finish off the exhaust. But I'm gonna put it in snug enough just to hold it flush against the oil bag, but still movable. Perfect, perfect. Now I'm gonna bolt the muffler to red Loctite again. I'm gonna bolt the muffler to the bracket loosely. As soon as I find the right tools. I have this fancy little guy, whatever you got, to hold this 1/2" nut right here and balance it just perfectly. Actually, hold on. A long set of low profile needle nose. Just gotta get her up in there flush against that bolt head so you can start it. Really hard to manipulate my hand that far, god damn it. I think I got it. Okay. I'm gonna rotate this dude so she lines up square. Now we're gonna tighten her up on the top. Like I've said in a million videos before, these bolts, you got 1, 2, 1, 2, like this. You don't just go cranking these down as tight as you can, because when you tighten the top ones, it's gonna pull the pipe this way. When you tighten the bottom ones, it's gonna pull the pipe this way. And then you can steer the pipe this way by going different directions. So these are steering wheels that you need to watch this down here. Make sure you're not smashing the pipe into the bracket, you're not pulling the pipe far away from the bracket, because if you put this in a bind and it's not right where it's supposed to be sitting, it will break. You will break your pipe, you will break this, you will break shit, and it will be your fault because you didn't install it correctly. So watch this alignment, pay attention when you're driving stuff in. I usually start with the top. I'll go a little bit right here, and if you watch this guy, you can watch it move away from the bracket. You can see it? See it coming out, moving away? Now I'm gonna go back down to the bottom one again. That pulls it in. See, it just pushed the bracket in. I don't want to push the bracket in either, so now I'm going to go over to old Topsy up here, Tipsy Topsy. I'm going to hit the top one, and I'm going to pull it out pretty generously, which he's not moving too much right now, which is good. Means I can get on the bottom of this dude, maybe get this front side tightened up pretty good. All right, I'm going to go back to this dude, and I'm going to go up on top, and I'm going to pull it out a little bit. She's a little tight. You can also force it up where you need to. I'm gonna go good and snug up on top, so when I draw it in the rest of the way in the bottom, it hopefully won't pull it in anymore because we're already compressed. That's pretty set. All right, now I'm going to tighten these bad boys up. They're 120 inch-pounds. If you want to get the torque wrench on them, I'd highly suggest it. I do know what 120 inch-pounds feels like, I promise. All right, now back to the back, dude. That guy needs to be tight, but when they come loose, that's how you lose your muffler. What did I drop? A tool! Man, okay, pipe's done. Easy enough. It took me relatively little amount of time. It's something you could definitely do at home. Just pay attention to the alignment process. It's crucial. I cannot express enough how crucial aligning your pipe is. Everybody crying about their pipes breaking and shit from different manufacturers, and this guy and this pipe and this one breaks, blah, blah, blah. 90% of the time, you're the one that broke it because you didn't set it up right. If you just crank the thing on there, it's gonna snap, I promise. I promise. I'm gonna wipe it off, get my greasy hands off of it, put the reservoirs on, put the bags back on, and the back half is done. Then we can move to the front. We'll probably start tearing that apart, and I'm really anxious to see what's underneath the cowl, like the inner fairing of this dude. There's billet trees on these stock. I want to see what they look like. I'm going to probably remove a lot of those covers and not run them and just kind of leave the thing very naked up front for now to kind of see what's going on and kind of get an idea of how I'm going to mount handlebars and work around that dash, because that center console, that glove box, I do not want to lose that, and I'm probably going to have to do handlebars, and I'm really sad about that. That's definitely the coolest thing I've ever had in a motorcycle before. Just Little glove box pops out. It pops out, you can get in and out of it while you're riding. Nothing blows around, it's safe. It is the shit, but I ain't running no ape hangers, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. These are the stock mount points that come with the Legends Arcs kit. This is where you put the reservoirs normally. I personally like to run them up here, but we do not have that figured out yet. They have a new version coming out that is supposed to work with a tour pack or a sissy bar at least. And I am waiting for that to come through because I want to run a sissy bar. I think a sissy bar would be really nice just for road trips and everything else down the road. And you know, if my chick's on the back, the old wife wants to ride, keeps her off my back. And I want it to be quick release so I can get rid of it when I want the bike to look cool, because sissy bars don't look cool. Now, just slide this dude up in there, which there is another line that you put up here to hold this hose and stuff, but I'm not going to do that because this is just a temporary setup for now. It's also why I'm not putting the stickers on these reservoirs, because I don't want to beat them up. I'm going to spread that. I think that we'll just leave it right here like this. Can't touch nothing crucial. It all moves in the same plane, so I'm going to run right there and I'm going to zip tie it just right there, and this is where she's going to sit for now until we get different mounting apparatuses and set the dude up how I'd actually want her to be. All right, there's one side. It's definitely not the way that it goes, but this is the way she's going for now until we change everything up. This stuff is all on the same plane. It all moves together. It's not gonna get pulled on or anything like that. There's plenty of slack up here. Well, on to the next side. Rinse, repeat. I'm gonna put the saddlebag on this side just to see how she looks and how everything works before I go too far. Look at this, I got some Bagger essentials in here. A nice Chopper Kings windbreaker, waterproof, so if you get caught in any kind of shit, I'm warm. And baby wipes, so everything's always clean. Look at that, that pipe looks nice in there. I didn't think I was gonna like that longer pipe, but you know, who doesn't like a longer pipe? That's that, the back half is done. I'm gonna do that other side over there in a second. You guys can just pretend like you watch me do it. And we're gonna move on, and then I'm gonna start tearing the front half apart and see how far we can make it today before I run out of ambition. I think it looks pretty sick. The old long pipe there, old long pipes. Probably gonna sound really good too. Probably be a bit on the quieter side if I had to guess, until you give her some RPMs and she comes alive, but that pipe's probably gonna make good sound. Good power, good power. All right, I'm gonna button up some things and I'll get back to you when I have something exciting. Right now you could watch this message from our sponsors, which is ourselves.
Hey guys, what's up? Tommy, Kruesi Originals. Just want to let you guys know we do have all of our Skynet sprockets back in stock. 55 tooth, 53 tooth, 51 tooth, and 49 tooth. This completes our chain drive kits, which are back in stock on the website now. We even have them available in high polished and black anodized finishes. All of these are available on KruesiOriginals.com.
Well, here it is. It's the end of the day. The bike looks like it's done. The suspension is done. I spilled coffee all over it this morning. The suspension is done and the exhaust is on. That is done. I had to space out the floorboard a little bit, which you have to do that with everything. I think I'm gonna make something to sell to you guys to deal with that on this project. And I'm gonna take it down and put it on the ground. It's easier to do a front end just on a jack on the ground because I can just work on it right there, because I want to really get up inside here in the trees and I want to mess with the neck bearings. And we might either make a set of trees, or we have some stuff coming from Archetype Manufacturing. We have some stuff in the works with them, some big pieces, some big aluminum pieces. This bike's gonna get a bunch of wild stuff, but those are problems for tomorrow. I'll see you in a minute. My lips are chapped. It's a nice bit of chapstick there, ready for the day. I'm all plumped and lush, ready to really get down to business, you know what I'm saying? Maybe do some bass fishing or something later. I got an old pair of Kruesi Originals gloves on. I'm getting ready to do some work. Blew the fingers out doing hand drags. Scooting along, but here we are. It is the day where we are finally going to put the front suspension in the old mysterious Street Glide over here. We're going to put the front in today, then we're going to take it for a little test ride, a little spin, see the difference between the stock suspension and this suspension, the Legend suspension, because the stock suspension's really good. I really, really like Legends, and I have always been a firm believer, and that's the first thing you should do to your bike is put some Legends suspension on it, because the stock suspension on Harleys has always been garbage. But this 2024 Street Glide has been very impressive. The suspension front and rear, she feels good from the front and the back. She has a good time all the way around, and it's been really, really fun to ride. But we're doing cartridges. This is the new cartridges with the new spring rate. This is a softer spring rate, and they make an even softer version. Did you know that?
It's like standard.
And they have comfort now.
Comfort?
Which I wish they would have known, because I like my front end nice and soft. I like them a little soft in the front, firm in the back. Putting that in today, and we're gonna take her for a little ride. It's probably realistically 110 degrees outside right now. So it's warm. It's winter time here in Phoenix. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna start with taking the fender off. We'll take the brakes off, pull the wheel out, and just start pulling shit apart. It's not really a how-to video, but you'll see how it goes.
That's that factory Loctite right there.
Back eater in right there, see that?
Fucking sick backy, bruv.
Drift event this weekend. Got a bunch of tires on the way. Hopefully they show up in time. Sure could use a tire sponsorship. I tell you what, it's real expensive. I figure it's about 150 bucks a lap in tires right now. The size of that fender.
By the time it's quarter, but by the time you get it, I'll already have it off. Way ahead of you, brother.
That's a front fender, ladies and gentlemen.
Oof.
Oh, Trent about ate it over there. So I guess I could help. You didn't loosen these?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Look at this.
Wow.
That's backed out all the way.
Factory torque specs.
Dun, dun, dun.
Who did the PDI on
All right, who's trying to kill me? You know I've got some enemies out there.
You don't say. Let's come look at this, June.
Okay.
Look at that. Wow. So look at all this like discolored brake fluid maybe that just got cooked on there? Or you cooked them doing rollers, dude.
Oh, I did. I mean, they might have got real hot. I wasn't paying attention. It was probably half a mile. The whole length of the road by Trask. It was really easy to do. I mean, really easy. I never even hit rev limiter. It's so torquey. I just boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, and just going across the road. Boom, 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 just sitting on the gas tank. It was cheating.
Also, the point of these bags is to get the weight off of your brake line. We did a video with these like a little while ago, and then we got a bunch of people sending us stories of like them using the Crown Royal bags, and they're just hanging on the brake lines with the Crown Royal bags wrapped around the calipers.
Keep my brakes safe.
Yeah.
You guys are trying, though.
Yeah,
You're trying.
they're
It's
meant
good-
to keep
it's
the
good work.
Yeah, keep the
work.
weight off of the.
Yeah, use the old string here and loop around something.
So yeah, you could set it somewhere where it's not like on the baggers. You could like set it on the brake,
Yep.
like the floorboard. That's usually what you got to do is hang
You
it.
can just set it and forget it.
Make sure it's not hanging
I'm
from the
always
brake
hanging.
line.
What do you need, Trent?
I forgot the front axle like threads into the leg. What?
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 I said I like what you're doing. You're doing a good job. This is great. It's a great way to work. Like old Father Christmas here, just passing down my wisdom.
Ah!
Look at this guy.
Hey!
Looking like a truck driver. What's up, dude? Willis, he's an old character in the old Sweet 3 days.
Sweet threes.
Sweet 3 made me do it.
Look at that.
The good old days.
Perpetrating.
If
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
we all
you
got
know.
that f***ing thing too.
Who, Kevin?
Kevin.
Yep. We all got
Diamond,
different
too?
variants of Kevin.
Oh yeah, we all got the f***ing hideaway diamond. Pals. I don't even know
Pals.
what shit is on my neck, but
Shit ton of matching tattoos.
yeah.
Now that we're talking about it,
We
yeah.
have like 5 matching tattoos.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the good old glory days of the Roadhouse and the tattoo shop. A bar with a tattoo shop is a good time.
Beautiful
with a
idea.
bunch of friends, yep. A lot of matchers. A lot of like 20 people at a time getting matching tattoos. Yep, good times and great oldies. We're gonna talk Willis into buying a Corvette so he can start drifting. The new bikes are not only better suspension, they feel a lot better, but they're super easy to work on. They have billet trees top and bottom now, which is pretty impressive. I really want to see the top tree in person. It's enclosed. I've only felt it with my fingers. I've seen it through my fingering eye. But all you got to do is undo the clamps and pull the forks out. You don't got to take any of the bezel off, any of the covers, none of that stuff to get the... You used to have to disassemble everything to do a front end on a bagger. It was a bitch. Now it's just 3 pinch bolts, a Trent, and poof, I fall right out the bottom.
Trent.
A Trent. The Trent's the most important part. Come take a look at what we got
Not
going on
included.
here.
Come on over here. Come
Come
on
on
over here.
get on
Trent.
in here. Get on in here.
Let me
Right
go.
in here. Come
Let
on.
me get right in
Closer.
here. Okay.
Closer. Get
Okay.
closer.
You got the 2 pinch bolts, and then you got Uno pinch bolt up in here that you can get with just a key.
The other 2 were already loose.
Yes, this is only for demonstrational purposes because we took the rest of it apart while we were bullshitting with Willis. All right, now it's time to do a little fork assembly. Trent, you ready to show the people how it's done?
Oh man, I was really hoping you'd do the dirty part.
No. I think this is the only difference. The spring, the coils are normally a lot tighter bound, a lot closer ratio, and a lot thinner coils. These are a lot beefier. They have a lot more throw to them. I think it just is running a lot better spring rate. The dampener rods, I don't see much difference. They look like they're longer. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go grab an old one because I have a plethora. So here we are comparing shafts. There is a difference. The new shaft is longer at the base, you can tell, and look at the holes for the valving. This is what creates your oil flow. Smaller hole, which is great, a little slower flow. It's gonna slow things down on compression. Big hole, more oil flow, and I think this is what made the front end so squishy. The OG one also has the top little vent on top, which if you see the difference here, look much tighter. Once again, basically they just gave this guy more dampening, however you want to say it. Internet nerd me to death. I don't care, but that's it. You got more travel by at least an inch. I'd say you got another inch of shaft length for more travel. Little tighter valving, so it just flows a lot better, and it is a much more aggressive spring. So really what they did is they just upped the quality and put a little actual suspension work into their suspension. Good work, Harley Davidson. I applaud you. 2 claps, a snap, and around the world. All right, I need my assistant to come on over here and start putting this together.
Well, since you got the f***ing 21-inch front wheel, we have to pull those apart and put the limiters in it.
Where do they go? In the bottom?
Where the cup, yeah.
I've never ran a 21-inch front wheel on a bagger before with Legends because we normally run 19s. I'm a real 19 is performance, 21 is looks. But we're doing a little different this time. We're going a little on the looky-loo side, and I'm going to try it out. If I don't like it, I'll probably end up going down to a 19. The geometry is different, and the rake and trail is a little tighter on these, so I don't think the 21, I'm hoping it's not going to be as floppy as it is on the earlier bikes, because the, shit, I don't want that. I want some of this, you know what I mean?
So, if you run a 21-inch front wheel, Legends used to sell a kit for 21s that just included these limiter spacers, so you don't bang your fender off of your crash bar.
Which is, it shortens your travel a little bit, I would say by an inch, but...
Yes. Now they sell these separate, so now you could buy their cartridges and then buy these separate.
Add that in if you want to or not want to. You don't have to buy the whole kit that way.
There's the part number.
You can put it together. You type that into KruesiOriginals.com and you can pick a set of those up. And every $5 you spend on there enters you in a chance to win a custom motorcycle.
Now I need to further disassemble these for that.
Just made this whole thing happen. June didn't even catch it on film.
Tell us what you did, Ryan.
Oh man, I mean, should I? Should I just let the people know since they didn't get to see the gloriousness of it? I got that fork tube off there.
Because you're so strong.
Oh, it's skillful and humble also.
Yeah, sure. I'm cleaning out these fork tubes to put the new Legend stuff in there. I already cleaned out the lowers. Pretty much just wiping off all this shit before I put the lower back in there. But before I put the lower back in there, I need to put the new cups in, the limiting cups, to limit the travel of the forks for the 21-inch front wheel.
So these are the Legends Axio cartridges, and these are the new version. They are considerably different. Used to have this backed off all the way, and the preload would be really light, and they were still very stiff, in my opinion. But the new one has a different spring rate, a better spring rate, and it sets up with a little more preload out of factory. But we're gonna do a little bit of reading right now.
That's where it's set.
240 pounds, that's factory.
At a 1/4 inch.
And you can set it up lighter to 1/8 inch.
Up to 180, yeah, you could set it to an 1/8 inch.
I like my front end to fucking dive just a little bit so you get a little more traction, but I'd hate to leave it here and try it and go, man, I wish it would have been softer. I'd almost rather try softer first. Unless you know what we'll do, go over here, watch this. I got a pretty good idea of how I like things to feel. It is a little stiff, feels good though. Like the cartridge feels really good. The compression, the way it rebounds feels really good. It's not springy. Well, let's just run it factory and see how she feels out the box.
All right, throw that in there.
But what's nice is before, factory was as loose as it got. So if it is too stiff, we can still go softer, or we can go firmer, but it does feel pretty good. Go through the stroke of it, give yourself a little Peter check there, and
Oh yeah, that does feel good.
it feels like a DX front end with a good firm spring. And this is all we gotta do is drop this bad boy in there, eh?
Hey, right, brother.
Limiters are already in there. We didn't
Yep.
even video any of that, huh? Did she get it, everyone?
Are you talking about those spacer fucking things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got those spacer f***ing things in there. All right, now what should she take fluid-wise? I'll do. You know what? I'll read the directions.
There you go.
I'll be the direction reader and the tool getter today. I love this. I really do. It's great. Where'd you put them? Over here?
Yeah.
Try Jesus, but don't try me, 'cause I'll fire. 13 OZs. Look at how simple the directions are. Look, for your fluid setup, you just look at what year you got. You got a 41, that would be these years. 49 was 14 and up. It's a 14 to 16, you just put in 13 ounces. If it's a 17 and plus, 13 ounces. It's that easy. You ain't gotta have no measuring stick or none of that jive. You just put in 13 ounces. 20 weight fork oil. We're gonna use some Bell Ray 20 weight fork oil, also available at KruesiOriginals.com. And if you buy a suspension kit there, you can get full kits, build-out kits that come with oil, bushing, seals, everything. Put it together yourself in your garage. Hopefully you have a service manual to go with it. All right, now I want to feel what one of these feel like with some fluid. Feels good. Like the valving feels really good. I like how it's a little fast and then it slows. It doesn't like
There's like bottoming
there's
resistance.
no coil bind.
Yeah.
It's just the fluid slows you down like it should. Shit, we're almost done. By that, I mean we're halfway done, which is pretty much almost done. That one's, pull that guy out of there. Let's throw him in the bike and wipe him down with some Windex. Oh, what side do I have? Threads in on the left side.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to run the cowbells though. Let's think this through while I have this off.
They are black.
Well, we could get rid of this
blacked out front
and
end.
then open all that shit up though.
Yeah. You could still run the cowbell without that. More cowbell.
No. Maybe get rid of these things, open this whole little area up right here. It looked good when we did it on the last one. On that 21 or whatever that one was that we
The
last
black
giveaway.
one? Yeah.
So we're gonna pull this cover off and pull the cowbells off and just have tubes sticking down, more a little like Dyna style traditional. You know, I kind of like it. I like it a little more open. I don't like the coverings on everything. But this is in Maiden Voyage because this cover is all molded up in here. So we might be pulling this off to find out that it looks like shit. So I just pulled the bolts out already. I'm not sure if I really know what I'm doing. Pop this guy off.
This thing looks like it loops under. Like right here, it loops
This side just popped up
down.
and off. There's still something hooked up though. Oh yeah.
Pull off the face of the fairing.
I'll be dipped in shit.
Oh.
Yeah. Am I gonna like that though? I don't know. I don't think that's gonna be the ticket. This is gonna be tough because it's gonna open up this whole area here in like a big wind tunnel. And then these side plates on the side of the fairing here, if you can see here, shoot, this will still be sticking down here.
Yeah.
I could just trim the bottom of this right along this line, follow it over and make it fit along with the tree there real nice. Or we could just lose the cans and then have these as like a brush guard.
I think these look pretty sick. They're like wings.
If I had wings I could fly, let me contemplate.
Honestly, I like the cowbell.
That's the part that just screams bagger to me, is having cowbells on there.
I think it fits.
But if this was just tubes sticking out and then this was kind of fitted all around it, it would look nice.
We
Let's
could
pull one tube, let's pull one
Yep.
cowbell off and one cowbell on, and we'll see which one looks better. I still think I'm leaning real hard for no cowbell. They look a little too thin to be right up in there without the cowbells. Covering suspension does not scream performance to me. Like, I like to see the suspension, but you can't see the back either. But I guess you can't see the suspension in a car, and if we're building a drift car, it definitely looks thin.
It looks skinny. Like it forgot to do legs.
Cowbells it is, I guess. Man, I can't believe I'm just caved. I would have to get rid of the wings and all that plastic and open it all the way up to the tree. When we get a little more into this area up here and start tearing it apart for the handlebars and figuring out what we're going to do with that center console there, then maybe we'll step back to this and delete as much of this as possible. If we run cowbells now, that means in order to get rid of cowbells, we got to take the whole front end apart again, which eventually I probably will cut all this out, trim all this down and around. This is a really nice setup. They did a really good job with how all this is put together and how it all fits and molds in, and it looks really nice with the cowbells in factory, but I don't want to be riding around on something that is still factory. I think we put the cowbell back on for now until we get into the handlebars and we tear the whole fairing off and kind of dissect what's holding what and what we can get rid of and what we can't, and then we'll just have to redo the front end, which we're probably gonna put different trees on this again anyways. Cowbells for now. Ding dong. I feel a little defeated. All right. Forks are in. I wonder if it's gonna be any taller. We should have done some measurements. That's kind of where we drop the ball on things, you know?
Yeah.
Because just by looking at it, it looks taller. We will know as soon as we put the wheel in because we didn't move the jack at all. So we can just measure off axle difference, axle to bearing. Got a little height just out of the suspension alone.
I'm pretty sure we dropped them, like mounting them flush in the trees.
I just got an idea. I don't know if it'd work. I want to be able to kill the ABS on this without taking the ABS off. I have two theories. I don't know that much about ABS because I don't use ABS. I hate it. After doing a roller on this with ABS on the front, and you can just grab a bunch of front brake and it's not gonna bark and shit can you, it kind of made me feel pretty nice and secure. I was just gonna unplug the, like when I went to a lot or to the show or to a show to ride a stunt show or something on it, I would just unplug the ABS sensors and run it with no ABS. But it would be cool if I could just unplug the rear and leave the front plugged in and the front still worked, but the rear didn't, but I don't think that's gonna work. They also modulate brake pressure front to rear, like equals out, so that's also another serious problem. But I can still do rollers, which is nice. But I think if you unplug one or the other, you're losing ABS no matter what. That's how it should be. So if I took the ABS line on the plug, on the other plug, wired in a switch, and then put a switch in the center console right there, or I could go ABS off, ABS on, and right now with ABS you can't initiate a drift. Like you can just ram and do a burnout and do like rollers and shit, but do like brakes, so I didn't like to initiate an actual drift. Got no brakes. It is crazy how them brakes turn that color that fast. I've never blued a set of brake calipers.
That's what I've never seen that before.
You guys ever seen that? Anybody ever blued a set of brake calipers doing rollers? I mean, I did a long one, and I was just, like I said with the ABS, you can just grab a handful of brake and then just hammer the throttle and you're just, ah! It just kind of like modulates where you need to be. It's kind of cheating, honestly. It's pretty nice. They could have been working really hard the whole time and I just didn't know it.
Yeah, that is true too.
You know?
ABS
is
is always
modulating
working
the whole time,
yeah.
and the brakes are just getting their ass whooped. I think the brake fluid leaked out because it's like running down the banjo. The powder coat's all like forked off.
Yeah, same over here.
I think both banjos leaked. Fender does look a little weird now that we cut it off. I'm liking it a little less. Now
Yeah.
the front end's a little bit taller.
Yeah.
I was totally content with running this Fender the whole time, but now I'm kind of looking at it going, ah. I mean, it's still the best looking Fender Harley's put on a bagger, that's for sure. It looks pretty good. It's just a little long in the front, which I could just shorten her back a few inches.
Yeah, just like even it out with the back.
The best part about it is I could cut it. If I mess it up, it doesn't really matter. Well, we need to wait and see what it looks like with the 21 on it. Oh, we're done.
That was it.
She is an inch tall. Wow, it feels a whole lot taller.
Does it?
My feet ain't, well, I'm almost flat.
Suspension front and rear, I mean.
It's not a lot taller. It's only like an inch taller, front and rear, but man, a 21's gonna make it tall. I don't wanna be tall. Not this tall. I know I was bringing it down a little bit, but what time is it?
3:48.
Ooh, we got time to go for a ride. 103 degrees Fout. So do I go take it for a ride in 103 degrees Fout? She looks a lot more aggressive. The suspension is definitely taller. It feels a lot taller. It's only an inch technically, but it's a firm inch. The exhaust is pretty good. The exhaust, I think it sounds good. It sounds like, not that like cackly shit, but like a more performance. It's got lots of chamber volume. It's probably gonna get louder as we kind of burn some of the packing in and stuff like that. But it is aggressive. It's loud when it should be and quiet when it should be, and that's a quality exhaust. It looks really good, looks really nice. I'm gonna go for the Maiden Voyage in some short socks and a pair of Hey Dudes, and hopefully I'll still have flesh on my ankles when I get back. I'm pretty stoked. Just look at that thing. It only has suspension, a pipe, and one of our seats on it, and it is a hard-ass looking motorcycle already. You can really see the geometry difference with it being taller. Like before, when you would raise the front end on these, it would look like it was raked out. The rake and trail on the earlier ones is not very good, and it is a lot tighter now. Everything just looks goddamn good looking motorcycle. I'm really excited. It's just gonna get better too because there's so much big shit coming. The stealth exhaust, Kruesi Originals saddleman seat, best seat on the market, best exhaust on the market. We've got Legend suspension, the best suspension on the market, 14-inch arcs in the rear, Axios with a 21-inch conversion because we are going to a 21, which is going to make it even taller, which we might lower it a little bit when that time comes, but she's going to be bad. She's going to be bad. I'm going to go for a ride, see how it goes, and don't forget to go check out Blockhead Moto to see our competition, because this is build off and we are competing against people to see who can build the best 2024 touring motorcycle. My money's on us, but you never know. Go check out their channel, see how they're doing, and let us know who you think's doing a better job. I got a new Simpson, but I got the wrong size, so I got a new one on the way. I can't wait because it's really, really nice, and I really, really hate this helmet that I've been wearing. It's light. That's about all I'm going to give it. Definitely feels bigger. That is for sure. I don't know if I like that. I like the way that it felt before. It just felt really comfortable. Oh, she does burnouts though. Oh my God. Dude, this thing fucking eats. She gonna eat right now. Woo! She feels good. I definitely need to tighten the neck bearings up. I don't like how loose they set them up from factory. That has really been my only complaint about this bike since day one. It's got just a little bit of a loose neck bearing. They always set them up for that 3-swing shit, and that 3-swing shit is just, it's not really good when you're putting down some speed or dumping into a turn. I like them a little stiffer. But this pipe sounds damn good. Man, this thing, she be making some power too. It's impressive. Oh, she's a smoke machine. The front tire does not grab so well. I definitely need to get a Shinko on the front. You need that real good sticky front tire, but dude, the power is, it's ridiculous. This thing made 100 horse and 122 foot-pounds with a stock exhaust, and right now, without even being tuned, I guarantee it's making more just having this pipe on here and being able to breathe. I really wish it didn't have ABS, but we'll figure that out. I do want to try and do a wheelie somewhere. Let's get out of this school zone here. We're going to do a little neighborhood cruising until I find a nice safe spot for me to be an asshole. I want to hit some speed bumps and something kind of rough too, and see how she takes it. It's a little flat on the bottom. I think it needs a retune, but the pipe being so much more open, yeah, I can get this thing to do a wheelie. Holy shit! Oh, that scared the shit out of me. Holy shit! Oh my God, I did not need to seat bounce that shit at all. Oh my God, that fucker came up hard and fast. Okay, that's dangerous. Whew! Oh my God, okay. Okay, so, yeah, it wheelies. I seat bounced it super hard and it came up really aggressive, and I did not hit the pipes or anything, which I kind of had expected to. I also have all the air in the back tire. If I was, you really want to be on like 20 PSI when you're riding wheelies, so it kind of keeps you flat, but good God. That thing just clutched up in a fist of rage right there. That's insane. To do that, like, if you guys have seen any of the videos of me on my 21 Road Glide that I built and all that I went through to get that thing to wheelie, and what a bitch it was to pull a wheelie up on it, and how much work I had to do on it to get it to wheelie good, this thing has almost nothing. Front and rear suspension, a seat and a pipe, and it literally just about tossed me on my back. I think I got a spot down here I can hit. Man, the fucking neck bearings feel real loose on this. I gotta fix that. I really wish that I could lock the brakes up, because like right here, come in brake sliding, yeah, and then ba-da-da-da-da, I could drift this whole turn, but not with ABS. Brake initiation is pretty much everything. Okay, let's give her hell, huh? Whoa, f me, I feel like I'm gonna eat shit. Wow, okay, it's a lot to hold on to. Good God, it's a lot to hold on to. She's big and she is powerful. And I've got the wrong shoes on to feel comfortable doing this shit. I feel like I'm gonna toss myself. It's really about timing off the back brake. I've got to brake check it to get it to load, and then you got to fully come off the back brake and really commit to clutching it, which is f***ing scary. It's big. Oh my God, I'm riding the back brakes like a pussy. I gotta let it come up. Oh, it's, whew. The thing is powerful though. It kind of scares the shit out of me. It wants to come up in like a fist of rage. I just need to let it walk. I can totally get this. I like a lot less air pressure, so I don't have to work so hard, and I could baby it up a bit. All right, I'm gonna give it one more try, and then probably go hide somewhere. No, come straight. I just scraped the shit out of the back of this thing. Woo! There we go. Woo! Oh, that's intense. That's a beast of a motorcycle coming up in the air. Well, motor's broke in now. I don't know if I want any more power. Well, I think letting the air down to like 25 so she's got a little flatter surface, and I could just go plop and clutch this thing up, and it would be gravy. I definitely got to cut the fender a lot deeper, that's for sure. It is not deep enough. Balance point on this does feel pretty shallow though. That was that balance point, I was dragging it back, but it wasn't 12 o'clock by any means. Which balance point on our earlier bagger is not 12 o'clock either. They're pretty shallow. Oh my God, it's hot out here. Well, that was amazing. That was lots of adrenaline. Look at that. It tells me how much battery's in my phone just by getting on the bike. So sick. I got no Wi-Fi. 39 miles to the gallon, almost 40. Like a mother, I did.
Look what you did.
Look at that. That is proper right there. Oh no! I lost a reservoir. Oh.
Well, I scraped it.
Dude, I scraped the fucking reservoir, dude. It's still, I still got it, but like bolts came out of the clamp, it looks like. On that note, I did scrape the shit out of it, and I did have the reservoirs mounted down in the bottom, so I did just blow the shit out of one of the reservoirs for the Legends. So I did do a wheelie, and I did scrape the living shit out of the fender, and it was a pretty goddamn legit wheelie. Thing's a beast. She's definitely a beast, and I am so sweaty and so all that shit. But on that note, I'd say that's a good closer for today. Like, subscribe, ring that bell, check out Blockhead Moto. This is Kruesi Originals. This is Build Off, brought to you by Harley Davidson. Stay posted, stay live. Like, subscribe, ring that bell, KruesiOriginals.com. Peace!